was a really interesting session. It was great to be with Debbie and to be with Emma as well. And we were talking about, the session was focused on the early career framework that was released in January, but also the ITE curriculum framework, which has just recently been launched. And I think the most exciting thing there is that we have a 3-year entitlement. Our new teachers have a 3-year clear entitlement to professional development that is supported. And we've all wanted that for many years. We've looked at high-performing jurisdictions around the world. We know that they do that, and therefore that's a real highlight. And I think people really welcoming that in the sector is really encouraging, and certainly that was what was coming across today in the session. But also, and people also have they want to get it right. People always want to get it right, and therefore they want to make sure that the conditions are right for them to support their new teachers. And again, I love the fact that our teachers and our leaders are they can see the potential, but also they want to implement it really well. So that was really exciting to see as well. I also think it's important that teaching, as a brilliant profession, allows as many great people to come into that profession as possible. And it's fair to say that if there's only one way in, and it doesn't suit your family commitments, it doesn't suit your part of the country, it doesn't suit the way that you want to develop, then therefore having one route may exclude you. So therefore I think it is useful to have a number of routes. I think some of those can be consolidated, okay? I don't think there perhaps needs to be as many routes as there are, because we want to make things simple for people who are considering joining. But nevertheless, I think a diversity of routes is important, that we can get as many great people into the profession as possible. People want professional development. People want to be developed sustainably throughout their career. And I think as teachers, and as anybody, we all want to work hard. So actually workload, it isn't as simple as let's cut workload in half, because we can't do that. But I think there are ways people want to work hard on the right things. And I think we as a profession, if we can be supporting each other so that our teachers and our leaders can be really focused on the 3, 4, 5 things that are going to make the biggest difference to our children and young people, that not only lights the fire of the teachers who want to do that, but also makes it a more sustainable career. So therefore, I think the key things around it are telling the great stories about why this is a great profession, but also paying them at the correct rate, and then showing them that they have a sequenced and really well supported professional development journey. And indeed, the DFE have recognised that. Its early career framework, I think, is a real step forward in doing that, so that those early career teachers can have some really focused and incremental development so that they can really develop their expertise throughout the early years in the profession. Being a new teacher can be daunting. There's so many things to learn. And we look at our more expert colleagues and we perhaps say, my goodness, it's like magic. So how do we break that down? How do we really understand what are the 2, 3, 4 steps rather than the 50 or 1,000 steps that we need to make? And I think that's the first thing, and schools can do that with really expert colleagues supporting your colleagues. I think the second thing is, again, the decisions that schools make in terms of what is the most important thing we want our teachers to be doing. And ultimately, it's teaching our children really well. And therefore, how can we make sure that they're spending the most time both learning how to do that even better, using research-informed practices, but also spending their time with pupils, getting feedback from other expert teachers to really ensure that they teach those children and young people brilliantly, because that's what they want to do. And then I think there's a third element, is to what extent, how can our schools and our school leaders try and avoid distractions? Now, distractions is a big problem across the world. We all want to look at our phones, we all want to check social media, all those particular things. And in schools can be very distracted places. So therefore, again, how can we get everybody focused on the 3 or 4 things that's going to make the biggest difference to that school, and then keep to those 3 or 4 things. And if we want to add another thing, we maybe decide, okay, we're going to remove this. So therefore, so that we can have everybody, be it pupils, be it teachers or leaders, all focused on the things that are going to make the biggest difference for that school and ultimately for their children.